Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today I want to do a video about Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. They finally got it right. If you like this video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. I definitely appreciate and love all the support. Truly do. The New York Knicks, they get it wrong so often, there should almost just be a term for like getting it wrong. We should just call it nicking it. Just nicking it. Pulling the New York Knicks, where they make the wrong gamble at the wrong time and they get it wrong. Whether it was bringing in Marcus Morris while they're trying to develop Kevin Knox and taking his minutes and his confidence, whether it was totally undermining Carmelo Anthony's value while he was with the team, and then estranging themselves from Kristaps Porzingis, whether it was bringing in Derek Fisher as the head coach instead of Steve Kerr, whether it was even just last year bringing in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, who play no defense, to a defensive-minded coach who doesn't have offensive scheming ability. They get it wrong constantly. But when they get it right, you know what? Let's just applaud them. Hopefully, through positive reinforcement, they can learn how to do better. Jalen Brunson is better. And I'm going to go into that in this video. The first reason why they got it right with Jalen Brunson is because he's built for New York. He is built for New York. He's from New Jersey. He played his college ball in Philly at Villanova, a high-level program, has high visibility and expectations. This young man has thick skin. He's a winner through and through, and he can be trusted. He's not this mercurial type personality. He's not some guy that, he's going to be out late night, get into something on the streets, not going to pull an Emmanuel quickly where he still has to mature a little bit. He's not going to pull a Julius Randle where he's yelling at fans just because he's losing and not playing well. He's the type of player who understands the game of basketball and what's being asked of him. He's probably been a professional since high school. You could tell by how he prepares, how he sets himself up each season to be successful, to continue to advance his game, to be able to acclimate to what's being asked of him. He's been a floor general his whole life, and all of a sudden he's on Dallas. You know what he does? He learns to play off the ball, right? He gets his catch and shoot numbers way up, his finishing ability way up. 2 years ago against the Clippers, when he struggled, what did he do? He went into the lab. He developed his game, came back this season, destroyed it in the playoffs. Every single round, carried him without Luka against Utah. The reason why they won that series. They go into the next series against Phoenix. He goes toe-to-toe with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Then he goes against the Golden State Warriors, and even though they lost, he showed up. He was reliable. He is built for New York. There ain't going to be no shying away against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs. He's going to be right there with them. You're not going to be able to just put a good defender on him and he's going to back down or start taking these terrible shots that are outside of his game. He knows how to get his spots, his shots, and he knows how to show up and be consistent for his team when it matters the most. The second reason why they got it right is because the New York Knicks, and everyone knows this, desperately needed a floor general for multiple reasons. On the court, because Julius Randle, when he doesn't respect the point guard bringing it up, he tries to become a point guard, and it absolutely ruins the New York Knicks offense. Now, it's not the most complex, dynamic offense in the first place, but when he's looking off the second best player in RJ Barrett because he's having a bad season, right? It's a problem. It's a problem. When he's trying to force shots that he hasn't been making all season because he thinks he needs to be the hero, it's a problem. When he's bringing the ball up and he's dribbling it off his foot, he's turning it over, trying to go 1-on-5, right? Multiple times in the same game. In the fourth quarter, it's a problem. And so you need somebody that he can trust, that he can defer to and say, I trust you're going to give me the ball in my spots. We know what Julius Randle is. I almost said Zach Randolph because they real similar. They real similar. Lefties, power forwards. You know what I'm saying? Dark skinned brothers who love to just go to work and get buckets, right? That's what they do. But you don't want Zebo bringing the ball up like he's a point guard. We know he's a black hole, and if you put him in the right position, you can maximize his talent as a scorer. Julius Randle is the same thing. If you put him in his best position, you can maximize his talent. And we saw that the first season when he was with the Knicks, he had Elfrid Payton. Whether or not he was a scorer or not, he got him the ball in his spots, and he trusted him to do that. He's going to be able to trust Jalen Brunson. Not only that, but Jalen Brunson is going to be able to set the table for everyone else. Quentin Grimes, who I believe they need to start this year because he's their best perimeter defender, right? And best long-term outlook player for this team, not Evan Fournier. He can come off the bench. He's going to be able to set the table for R.J. Barrett, who's in a contract year, who's going to be looking to get his and eat. He's going to be able to set the table, like we already said, for Julius Randle, but most importantly, also Mitchell Robinson, and keep him involved. You know how frustrating it must be to be treated like Rudy Gobert in Utah, where you can't get the ball? You can't get the ball? You're open under the rim, and guys want to take step-back 18-footers? Instead of tossing the ball up to you with only a 6'4" guard in front of you, and you 7'1" with a 30-something 40-inch vertical and 7'5", 7'6" wingspan? You know how frustrating that's got to be? Jalen Brunson is going to hook him up all day on that pick and roll. He's going to run that from the top, throw that lob. I think you're going to have a highly involved and invested Mitchell Robinson. But not just that. On the bench, we know Tom Thibodeau's deficits. We know he's a first-round coach, meaning first-round playoff and out coach. We know that. We know that. Best case scenario, he gets to the semifinals. We know he's not that guy. And we also know his deficits. He is not an offensive schemer. He's not going to make a bunch of adjustments. He's going to double down on who he is every single time, tell the guys to play hard, run hard, hit the glass, get to the rack, get to the free throw line. Play hard, 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 hard. He's not a smarter, not harder type of coach, right? That's Brad Stevens, right? Brad Stevens, play smarter, not just harder. Tom Thibodeau, run you into the ground, right? What Jalen Brunson is going to do, he's going to alleviate the pressure from Tom Thibodeau for having to figure out the offense. He's going to say, look, just give me the framework. I'll take it from here, coach. And he's going to be able to sit back and give it to him. The last reason why they got it right is because he's an East Coast guy. As I said before, he's from New Jersey. He played in Philly, right? He's got the chip on his shoulder. He's got that John Starks chip on his shoulder where he wins a national championship only to watch 30 other teams draft somebody else in front of him. Guys that he was just eating up in the NCAA tournament get drafted in front of him. As if he hasn't been a winner his whole life, getting state championships in high school, winning the NCAA title in college. And they just look right past him. I think he's got that Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet type of outlook. He's got a 19 to 21, 22 points a game on good efficiency and 6 to 8 assists a game in him while running his team to a T. Those guys do not grow on trees. He knows his value. And he also knows that he's been counted out and overlooked. He knows it. Dallas didn't want to pay him what he was worth despite having a great playoff run. Because I tell you right now, if Dallas had said, look, we're going to get to 22 instead of 24, you don't think he would have done it? I think he would have stayed in Dallas. Dallas was probably trying to tell him, hey, we're going to give you 18. And he's like, what? You're going to pay me $6 million less than what I can get in New York? Bet. He's got that chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. And that's what you got to have when you come to New York. You got to be tough. You got to be tough-minded more than anything. And you've got to be internally driven. You've got to have that motor inside of you that says, look, I'm here to hoop. I'm here to win. And that's what the city respects. So the Knicks, kudos. You got it right. You got it right. Hopefully you guys aren't finished this offseason. I think there could be a nice package with a little Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, first round draft pick type of package for somebody else. I think you could use another 3-and-D wing that could be relied upon. maybe a young guy somewhere who you could pick up. But if you can't, I love the way this roster is looking. With Brooklyn bowing out, saying they no longer want to be a part of the championship business, with them doing that move, that opens up another spot. With Atlanta still shifting and trying to figure things out with John Collins and bringing in DeJounte Murray, right? They're still figuring things out. I think there's another spot. Charlotte didn't exactly take a step forward, and Miles Bridges just getting in trouble with the law. Who knows what the season will end up for them, right? There's a spot for them in that 6, 7, 8 range in the playoffs. And I'm excited to see what the Knicks do this year. As always, I always want to know what y'all think. Hit me up in the comment section. You know I respond. See me on Twitter at RockNeverStops2. That's the number 2. And I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.